hello, my beautiful viewers. How are you all? I hope you all are fine and doing well. I'm Saida Fatma Rizvi and I'm your favorite physistic and YouTuber. And I bring for you people the very interesting and informative videos of physics. Dun, dun, dun. So, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Physics Encyclopedia, because I bring for you people the very interesting and informative videos of physics. So today my topic is about as you can see, the topic is about the alike and unlike parallel forces. Okay, so as you people know that I'm your favorite physistic and YouTuber, and I bring the very interesting informative videos of physics. So these videos require a lot of hard work, so please do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and please spread my videos worldwide. Okay, so our topic today is about the like and unlike parallel forces. Okay, forces are the agency that tend to move or tend to stop the motion of the body. Okay, so on what factors the body motion depend upon? Obviously the body motion depend upon the forces. So there are many kind of forces that exist in the universe. One of the forces that we are going to study today are, as mentioned in the topic, the forces that we are going to study today are the like and unlike parallel forces. Okay, so let's come towards what are the like forces. As you can see in the diagram, two arrowheads. As you people see in the diagram, the two arrowheads, they are parallel to each other. They are like parallel to each other in the same direction. So if the forces are parallel to each other, in what direction? In the same direction. So those forces are known as what? Those forces are known as what? Those forces are known as like parallel forces. I repeat again that if two forces are if their line of action is the same and they lie in the same direction, then those forces are known as like parallel forces. As you can see in the case of these arrowheads, that these two forces, in case of these two forces, their line of action is the same and these both forces lie in the same direction. So these forces are known as the like parallel forces. Now, what are unlike parallel forces? Let's discuss about it. What are unlike parallel forces? So here come another diagram of arrowheads. Okay, so you can see, as you people see, that in case of these arrowheads, their line of action of forces are not the same. They lie in the different direction. As you can see, one arrowhead is in the upward direction and one arrowhead is in the downward direction. So these arrowheads lie in the different directions. Okay, so their line of action of the forces are not similar. Their line of action of the forces are not the same. So it means that these are known as the unlike parallel forces. Okay, these are unlike parallel forces. On what? Because their direction is not the same. On what factor? These are not on what factor these are known as the unlike parallel forces? Just because of the fact that their line of action of the forces are not the same and the line of action of the forces are not in the same direction. So that's why they are known as the anti-parallel forces, or we can call them as unlike parallel forces. Okay, so these are the two examples that I have given to you. These are the two instances that I have given to you of the like parallel forces and the unlike parallel forces. So I hope that this will clear your mind. Okay. So these two examples are literally the coolest examples ever to clear your mind about the like parallel forces and unlike parallel forces. So let's come towards the definition of like parallel forces. That what are like parallel forces? Basically, in a plane, if a number of forces acts on a body such that the points of action are different but line of action are parallel to each other, okay, if the points of action are different, as we can see in case of those arrowhead, that their points lie in the totally opposite sides, but their line of actions are parallel to each other. Their lines of actions are parallel to each other. So these forces are known as the like parallel forces. I repeat again, in a plane, if a number of forces act on a body, but we have taken in case of arrowhead the two forces, okay, such that their points of actions are different but lines of action are parallel to each other. It means that if we have two arrowheads and their lines of actions are different, their points of actions are different but lines of actions are similar to each other, so they are known as like parallel forces, okay. So this is really very simple example of simple definition of what like parallel forces. So here we have taken the examples of the like parallel forces. Suppose if the car stops just because the car engine failed and this car working stops. So what will happen? The car will not be able to move. In this case, the person need to move the car. Then in this emergency situation, some two or three people come and they apply the forces on the car. Now these forces are parallel to each other. The two or three person will apply the forces on the car, and these forces are parallel to each other on, and they act on the car in the same direction, okay. They act on this car in the same direction, so that's why the car will able to move and will able to work properly, okay. So when these parallel forces act on the car in the same direction, then what will happen? The angle formed between these forces is 0 degree. So in case of parallel forces, as we have seen in case of arrowheads, they do not coincide with each other, and the angle formed between them is what is 0 degree. It is compulsory that the angle formed between the two line of action of the forces whose line of actions are similar to each other, but they also have the same direction, so the angle formed between the two like parallel forces is what? 0 degree. Do remember that. So in case of this car, if the car stops and the two or three person will apply the forces on the car, and these forces act on the car, and their line of action of the forces are the same, and these forces act on the car in the same direction, then the angle formed between them is 0 degree. So this is one of the example of the like parallel forces. Here I have taken the other example of the like parallel forces. For example, I have taken the shopper, which is the weightless, okay, the shopping bag, and I put some bunch of apples on them. Then what will happen? The force of gravity will act on the apples in the downward directions, okay. The force of gravity will act on the apples. The weight of the apple will act downwards, and weight is what? Weight is basically the force. The line of action of the forces are the same. The line of the action of the forces are the same, and the forces are basically the weights of the apple which act in the downward direction. So okay, so the weights of the apple will act in the downward direction, which is, and their line of action of the forces are similar, and they lie in the same direction. The weight of the apples will lie in the same direction, in the downward direction. Okay, so this is one of the example of the like parallel forces. Okay, I repeat again that I take the bunch of the apples and the weight of the apples lie vertically downwards. Okay, and weight is basically a force, so the line of action of the forces of apples lie in the same direction, and they the weight of the apples like act vertically downward. So this is one of the example of like parallel forces. So I have discussed the examples of the car and the examples of the apples of the like parallel forces. Let's discuss about the unlike parallel forces. Unlike parallel forces are forces that are parallel and act in the opposite direction. Okay, so like and unlike parallel forces, there lie a difference between the like and unlike parallel forces. I have discussed before that the like parallel forces have the same line of action of the forces. Okay, and they have the same direction, but in case of unlike parallel forces, you can see that the line of action of the forces act in the opposite direction. Okay, for example, if there are two forces F1 and F2, then the resultant force F is equal to minus F1 plus F2, where the negative force is the force acting in the downward direction. So the line of action of the forces, if are different to each other, so it means that these are known as the unlike parallel forces. Suppose we take the two forces F1 and F2, then the resultant of these two forces are R is equal to minus F1 plus F2, where the negative force is the force acting in the downward direction. Okay, one of the force is in the upward direction, and one of the forces in the downward direction, as we have seen in the beginning. In case of the unlike parallel forces, one of the force will act in the upward direction and one of the force will act in the downward direction, so their line of action of the forces is different. So let's discuss about the example of the unlike parallel forces. Suppose we take the apple and the apple is suspended to that of the string. Okay, so the two forces will act on the apple and the apple is in the rest condition. Okay, as it is tied with that of the string and the apple is in the rest condition, so two forces will act on the apple. The weight of the apple acts vertically downwards and the tension that will act on the apple will act vertically upwards. So see, these two equal and opposite forces are the example of unlike parallel forces. Okay, these two forces will cancel the effect of each other. Okay, so these two forces are the example of unlike parallel forces. The weight of the apple act vertically downwards and the tension on the apple act vertically upwards. Okay, in case of if the turning effect is produced, if we take the example of the seesaw, for example, if the children are playing on the seesaw, so you can see that the seesaw is moving, the torque is produced, the turning effect is produced. Okay, so the two forces are acting on the seesaw, but these are the unlike parallel forces because their line of action of the forces are not similar. Okay, their line of action are what? Not similar. So these are the examples of the unlike parallel forces. That one force on the seesaw will act in the downward direction and one force on the seesaw will act in the upward direction. So these are the two unlike parallel forces that their direction is not similar and their line of action of the forces are not similar. So these are all about, this video is all about the like and unlike parallel forces. in which we have studied that first of all we have studied about the parallel forces, that what are the parallel forces, and then we have discussed about the examples of the parallel forces, that their line of action of forces are similar, and these two forces lie in the same direction, as we have studied in case of the car, and we have studied in case of the bunch of apples. Okay, and we have studied then about the unlike parallel forces, that their line of action of forces are not the same, their line of action is not the same, and these two forces act in the opposite direction, their direction is not the same. So these, that's why they are known as the unlike parallel forces. And we have discussed the examples of the apple suspended to the spring, and the and what we have studied the examples of the seesaw. So I hope that you people enjoy this video bring a lot of information for you people. So I hope that you people enjoy, and stay tuned to my channel. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel, because you are my people. I love you all. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel, and spread my videos worldwide. Okay, next I will bring more informative videos for you people. So please, if I work hard for you people, then I want the reward from you people. I want more and more views and more subscribers. So please do act, like, share and comment, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.